It's awesome. I love playing this game. If you get together with the right group of people, it can be so much fun. You know, I mean, even when you lose this game, it's fun. This game is just, you can tell it comes from a well-seasoned designer. All the parts fit together. It's like a symphony of mechanics, you know, and it's just great. I love the theme. I love that you're building. I love that no one can come and like take some things away from you when you've built them. The actual boards themselves and the puzzle that where you're trying to figure out how to do two actions, I mean, it is freaking awesome. And let me tell you, I'll just go right into the artwork. The artwork of this game, I'll show you some examples. It's the best. It's so good. I mean, it is really like very, very amazing quality artwork. And not just the artwork, like, you know, you'll obviously see, you know, I mean, you'll take one look at this artwork and you'll say, oh my God, it's like the best artwork I've ever seen for a board game, right? I mean, look at this. There's just all these different mechs. It's so imaginative and it's so beautiful. And also, I also would like to talk about the graphic design. You know, in these videos, I always talk about graphic design and how I'm kind of a stickler for being able to see stuff. So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 as far as that goes. I mean, you can see everything very well. The icons are very well placed. They're large enough, right? I mean, again, basically just everything came together in this game to just make a really fantastic, fun evening with a bunch of friends. This is a really cool thing about this game too, is that I believe, you know, this is, you might argue with this, but I think this is actually a really new player-friendly kind of game, and I think Jamie specifically made this game like that, to where it's kind of friendly to new players. In other words, it's not 100% completely open world. I use that term open world to describe a game where you can kind of do anything. It doesn't even lead you on a path, and I love games like that, right? Where you have no idea what to do, and you could just go ahead and do it, right? So this game has a really fantastic balance in that it is very open. There's a lot going on, and believe me, there are many different ways to win this game. You can win the game with lots of popularity, less popularity. You can win it with like building all your mechs and going into battle. You can win it without building any mechs. I mean, the game is so incredibly well balanced. There are so many different ways of winning this game. You can kind of try and turtle and build up different things. You can battle. I mean, I've seen in this game people win in very varying different ways, which is part of the beauty of this game. But, right, so it is very open to where you could do lots of things, but if you want to, it also sort of gives you a little head start. It gives you a path, like these objective cards, right? It gives you a couple things that you can shoot for. So you could be, even if you're a new player, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to do that, right? That gives me something I'm going to shoot for, right? So at least the first couple turns, you're not completely lost, right? Some people say this game is a little bit slow, but I don't think so. I love it. I mean, it gives you time, and it's clever. The movement is very clever, and at first, it may seem like, oh man, I can only move one at a time, or two units at a time. Oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to. But believe me, as the game goes on, you start to understand, oh, well, there's these tunnels, and that means I can hop all the way across the other side of the board, or I have this special ability that lets me do that, right? Oh, I could river walk there. And it's also very cool because you're watching the other players in this game, you know, always, and they can only go into your area by crossing certain parts of the river, right? So you're watching that too. You're like, oh, I feel like I'm kind of safe here because I'm on a farm and he can't cross into farms. It's this really neat mechanic, and it just adds a lot of depth and just some crunch to the game. You know, it's very cool. This isn't one of those games where you're like, where your movement is you're moving, you know, massive armies across the map. This is a very tactical game, and it's a very thinky game. So you have to be, you know, you have to think about where you're going to move to. But again, it's great because at first it gives you time to explore. He says, but by the way, there's a lot of very funny little quips and little funny parts in the rule book and on the cards. So you can tell this game, he has a good sense of humor, Jamie Stegmaier. Very good sense of humor. So, and not in a corny way too. It's actually legitimately funny. So one of the things he says in the rule book is, you know, don't like go crazy and read every single rule. He's like, just go in there and start, you know, pulling levers and pressing buttons and see what happens. And this game allows you to do that. It gives you time to actually, you know, there's like a slow burn, like I said, which I love. So not everyone right in the beginning is going to be able to move and march on you, you know, like in some other games. This game, the movement is very restricted in the beginning, and that gives you the ability to kind of explore the game, explore production, and maybe also and to actually explore, like with your leader, which you'll see where you move him around and go exploring the world without the threat right away of getting, you know, all your stuff taken away or civilization bashed into dust. You know, this game has that really fantastic feeling in your psychology, and that only comes from, you know, a game that's very well designed, you know, with kind of that in mind, where yes, you might get destroyed in a battle, but pretty much everything else that's going on in the game, you know, are these, like I said, it's these little presents that you open up. You know, you're pulling this up, oh my god, I get to do that, and this gives me like 4 benefits in one thing. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of some Lacerda games like CO2, where you are, you know, you do one thing and get a benefit from doing, you get 2 benefits from doing that one thing. In this game, you get many benefits from doing almost everything. So anyway, I love that feeling. I love the artwork. The bits are absolutely incredible. It's just one of my favorite games, and you should definitely try it out, yo.